Okay.
Well, no.
Cathy.
I think this might be the first time seeing you in 3D.
Yeah. Your
This
daughter?
is Raiden.
Oh, 3D?
Raiden, this is Tim. This is
How you doing? Okay. It's done? Oh, nice.
And you got your copy?
Yep.
Okay, good.
He was supposed to come, but we couldn't get the seat right. You need an engineer. Just a couple things. Here's a paper scrap. Generally,
You gave me one for me
okay,
too.
good. And I leave this one here.
Okay.
Did you want to read the chalice lighting and
I
extinguishing?
don't care.
All right, I'll read.
You read and I light the
And you light.
extinguish? Okay. I did. Yeah, I got it quickly.
I think they're ready.
Yeah. That's weird.
You know.
I had a question about the joints. Is this something that I say to start at the moment of reference?
Well, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
that's it.
Okay, great.
Where's her pianist? Oh, there it is. Okay. We're set. We got a guitarist. Bruce is going to play him and Nam. I'm going to lead the final hymn.
And
Yeah.
the choir anthem, I looked it up. It's beautiful.
Isn't it though? I know. It fits real well.
It fits so well, and it was chosen before.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know where I struggle at? Sometimes I do reflection, sermon, and then hymn. I didn't know what the hymn was before I made up the order of service. I think I would have had it after your sermon. But I think your sermon will dovetail right into.
Well, and I looked at it when my sermon was basically done.
Yeah.
So I just wrapped some of the lyrics in at the very end of the sermon.
Beautiful.
I put
Okay.
it together.
That's how we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're doing that.
Yeah.
And so you'll say that while I extinguish.
Yeah.
Sing. And then I'll benedict.
Yes.
That I would be happy to do with cordless mic. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
cordless.
Yeah.
And this one is, well, no, that one's
Yeah.
cordless.
I'll be here for everything, but for the benediction, I'd be happy to
Okay.
step out. Cool. Great.
I think we're set. All I gotta do is take my hat off and get a swig of water. And the lady that was supposed to do the service, she had an operation, surgery this week, but she did this for me. And this is the piece that I hate doing the most. Oh, one other thing. Before your sermon, can I introduce you?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right, I'll do that.
Phone is dancing.
Is it? It's got some fucking
Somebody's got something.
Jimi Hendrix on it.
Is it possible to get a cup of water up?
Yeah.
If I don't have it, then but if I have it,
Okay. Let's go right here.
thank you.
out at night to breathe the sweet summer air and exhale on the ground. The earth was made for them. The earth is made for them. She's on her way. On her way. She's on her way. On her way. And no one can be silent anymore. Every death is the death that my family mourns. We've traded in our numbness and all of our fear to fight for the lives we now hold dear. And everyone has come to greet the reckoning. The place where our hearts got smaller and smaller now grows to hold the pain. The brokenness that leads to change. She is on her way. On her way. She's on her way. On her way. Another world's not only possible. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. Another world's not only possible. Oh, on a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. Another world's not only possible. Oh, I can hear her breathing. Another world's not only possible. Oh, I can hear her breathing. She's on her way. On her way. She's on her way. On her way. And when the world we're building is ours, we'll be tall inside. There will be no question as we pray and sing that we have each other, and what that means we'll finally get to be together. Stare with our hearts at what has been and find some place of home. And find some place of home. On her way. She's on her way. On her way. She's on her way. On her way. She's on her way. On her way.
Good morning. How about last Sunday? And how about that parade Friday, right? Yeah, it's a good time to be in Philly. Welcome to our multi-platform worship service. My name is Tim Starr, and it is my honor to be co-leading our service today with the Reverend Cathy Rion Starr, who goes by the pronouns they, them. Reverend Cathy graciously stepped in at the last minute when Rita Fitzgerald, who was set to lead the service with me today, had a last-minute surgery. She's fine. So last night she says, what can I do to help? So she put together the pulpit script for us, and she did an excellent job, right? So I'll start I'll start with giving a big thank you to our wonderful choir led by Monica Alba Rodriguez and joined by Anam on the piano. A big thanks to Bruce Pollock Johnson, who will help us lead us in our closing hymn today. And also here with us today is Elizabeth Ann Terry, Director of Religious Education. Last but not least, of course, is Mike Foy, the man behind the curtain, who is running our AV tech stuff today. Thank you, one and all. A few small announcements before we begin. Please silence any electronic devices so that we may all be as present as possible in this space. Restrooms are located in the rear of the sanctuary, down the stairs to the right, or use the mechanical lift to the left. An usher can help you navigate either option. We are streaming live, and if you're joining us online, you could choose to toggle on the closed captions by clicking the CC button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. This is a Unitarian Universalist, or otherwise known as UU congregation, which means we are people of many differences, different faith traditions, different racial identities, different gender expressions, and of all different ways of moving in and showing up in the world. And we are people of togetherness, who make covenant promises to be together and to act with love for transformation, liberation, and healing. Today's service is titled Ground and Gather. It's about staying grounded in our faith and gathering in community during these troubled times when there's chaos and confusion. Our guest minister, Reverend Cathy, will elaborate on this theme in her sermon. May our gratitude and intentions be guiding lights for us this morning. Let us worship together. In UU congregations, we light a chalice to celebrate our coming together in love, to mark the sacred space and time of our community, and invite the Spirit into our lives. We invite you to light a candle wherever you are today and read along with us here in the sanctuary. We'll read the chalice lighting words together as Reverend Cathy lights our chalice. Humble yourself, accept that this is what has unfolded. Notice that you have your whole life to shape what comes next. And that's by one of our favorite authors and activists, Adrienne Marie Brown. Our opening hymn, number 95, There's More Love Somewhere. We invite you to stand in body or rise in spirit as we sing together, or you may sing, move as you wish with this song. Anam will be leading us on piano.
Somewhere
Part of our being a community is learning to share the authentic and vulnerable parts of ourselves with others, to see and be seen, to know and to be known. We make space today for that sharing, all of which helps to build this congregation into beloved community. We invite you to share what's going on in your life, to name your feelings and the people on your heart in need of prayer, good energy, best wishes, and other help. We invite you to get into your body and investigate what emotions you are experiencing, to share them as you feel called so we can help one another hold our joys, our grief, and our in-between feelings. We build community by celebrating our good things, mourning our troubles, taking risks, and listening deeply. For those in our sanctuary, we ask that you come up one at a time by the side aisle, that one over there, to pick up a stone or stones from the basket, infuse or change it with your joy or sorrow, and place it in a bowl of water where its energy will ripple out to be held by all of us. This morning, we invite you to take a moment and witness how your stone nestles next to the stones of others and how all are surrounded by the water that symbolizes our community's shared grief and joy. If you'd like to share something important on your heart, please speak directly into the mic. I'll set it up. Or maybe Bruce, can you set up? All are welcome to participate in any of these ways, and for those who have gathered virtually, I will add a stone on your behalf. We will then sit in stillness and hold all these joys and sorrows together. The sacred space of deep sharing is now open.
Hi, Bernadette. First, I just want to say what joy to hear people sing so wonderfully during the hymn. And second, I will find more peace somewhere. And in that, I ask for prayers as I embark on a malpractice trial for the next 2 weeks that I'm part of. And it is one of the most stress-inducing things that you can experience.
I'm Annie, and the first thing I want to do is send out love to Gary Sobolo. And now Deb and I have something to say.
Check out our sweatshirts. Okay, so we're very proud of ourselves today. So Annie and I did not know each other before I joined this church. And that's something I think is an overall joy, is that there are lots of friendships to be made here between young and old,
Totally.
new, and whatever. So reach out. We both hiked 11 miles yesterday as part of Walk Around Philly in the snow and the rain, and we went up and down pathways and woods and rocky trails, and we're so damn proud of ourselves.
The leader at one point in time didn't even know where we were going.
Yeah, we didn't
We didn't know where we were going. We took a good guess.
Yeah.
But I just loved walking with Deb. It was
Yeah.
like the best, getting to know her more.
Yeah. So we bought matching sweatshirts.
Yes, we had to.
2 for $35 at 30th station. Yeah.
It's a Philly thing.
It's a Philly thing. And they're not green.
I'm not quite so tall. I'm Sandy Fulton, and I've been here since 1997 and love it. And I have 2 stones. One is for my daughter-in-law, Chung-Min Lee Eckley, if she wanted to Americanize her name. She is worried about her job because all of the immigrants are. She's from Korea. She's a U.S. citizen. She has been for years now. But they're still worried. We all understand that. And anyway, I wanted to display my shirt. If you want to, you can order them from UU Justice PA. It's right on the front of the shirt, and it's also so people standing behind you in a grocery line can tell where you're from. Anyway, I also wanted to say that Rita talked to me on the phone about her usual half hour or so yesterday, and she is feeling much better since her operation. She had a very bad problem with a foot, and if you know Rita, you know she loves to walk. She took a week off not coming in, and she hopes to get back here next week. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Aviva, and I wanted to let you all know that so my family and I started coming here just at the end of last year, and it really after the election. That's right. The night of, I think I was like, I need somewhere to go. That's right. And it's been quite a joy in our lives. So I really appreciate all of you and holding this space for all of us.
Good morning. So our oldest is not here. She's still in bed because she is officially a teenager as of yesterday. We have a 13-year-old. So happy birthday, Coraline. Yeah, we're very proud parents.
I'm Cathy. I'm happy to say that my brother, who'd been evicted, has found a new home as of March 8th. So it's a huge relief. He's one of the invisible unhoused, no longer. So, and look who I brought today.
My name is David. This is my partner and your moderator, who called me on my second day in Costa Rica, January 14th, to tell me she was in the hospital. And a minute later, after I was trying to take that in, told me she was going to have an operation at 9 o'clock. And I said, tomorrow morning? She said, no, in 2 hours, tonight.
And don't come home.
She said she didn't need me. No, she said that people from her church would step up and take care of her, and they did. And our neighbors did, and I stayed for a month in Costa Rica and studied Spanish. I didn't take the time to travel around without her. I couldn't do that, but managed to actually have a little more Spanish because of that. And so I just want to thank you as a congregation for being there for her and for me and making that trip possible. Many thanks.
Sharon, and I just wanted to say I am so proud of the UUAs all over the country because we joined the Quakers and the Mennonites and the Sikhs to provide a class action suit against the government because it's against our faith and our religion and our shared values to not provide sanctuary.
Hi everybody, I'm Monica. So some of you know this already, but I wasn't able to sing with choir last month because someone who is sort of like an uncle figure for me passed away. So I just wanted to put a stone in for Bill, and also ask people to send some love to my cousin Angelin, whose dad it was. And then the opposite side is the joy to be back singing with everyone. I've really missed it the past couple months, so I'm really grateful that we had a actually pretty big crew, and I'm excited for you to hear everybody.
Hi, my name's Allison, and I wanted to put a stone in because it's my very first time attending a UU service, and I'm excited to be here. I was invited by Monica to come and sing and be a part of the choir, and that has been very joyful, and I'm glad that, you know, as a bonus, I get to come here for the first time. So, yeah.
My name's Annabelle. It's very joyful this morning to see our church so full, to see old friends, people I've known for so many years, and new friends, new people here that I will get to meet. Yesterday I had a joy. I was visiting with Cathy Baxter, and it's such a joy to talk with her. The time flies because we got into very deep concepts and ideas about being older and giving up and being patient. And it's a good thing that I was able to be with her, and I hope to do that more.
Good morning, I'm James. I'm visiting you from Vermont, and what was on my heart this morning was the pain of relapse. As we witness people in addiction sometimes going backward and how painful that is. But as I was walking up, I remembered also that there is the joy of recovery, as is aided by communities like this one. And it occurred to me that relapse and recovery are also cycles that happen in cultures and in politics. And there is the pain of going backward and then the joy of community and going forward again.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm sharing my joy that we booked Desmond's return flight home this week. So it's a few months out, but July 3rd, I will be a very happy mommy at the airport.
Hello, everybody. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Bill. Thank you. I just started coming to the UU Church in like December. So this is all very new to me, and I've been really enjoying the stuff that I've been seeing in the community and everything. So I've been trying to check out all the different congregations in the area, so not necessarily the one that's closest to me, but try to get the full big picture. So I'm here today, and do we do coffee and fellowship after? Cool. So I'll be here for that. So come and say. Cool. All right. So come and say hi, and thank you guys. I really appreciate this place. So.
I missed you last week. I was in the Tropic of Florida. It's hard to believe it's the same country. It was just beautiful, so beautiful. I was in the Boca and Boynton Beach area, and my big joy also was to be with my cousins. That's why I went there to Philly cousins were visiting other Philly cousins and cousins who live there. And this is my record, probably lifetime, for watching a football game, because I'm not a football person. And I watched the whole thing, even though I didn't know what was going on. But they explained. So really happy for everybody who is a big football fan, and for our city, and the joy that I had to be with family.
My name is Bruce. Just wanted to say what a joy it is to be here. We're not going to be physically present for a little while, but one of the reasons I retired was to be able to devote more energy to the church, and I will be doing that in every way other than physically that is possible. So I look forward to interacting in different ways for a while, but we'll see you back in a little while.
I'm Elizabeth Ann. Good morning, everybody. I put a stone in for my nephew, Christopher, who struggled with mental illness, addiction, and over the last 10 years, Parkinson's. And he died on Thursday.
And I'm going to ask Reverend Cathy to please add a final stone for all those joys and sorrows not shared out loud, but held in the sacred quiet of our hearts, and lead us in a moment of reverence. Thank you. And now we will have our story for all ages.
Hello again. I'm still Elizabeth Ann. I use the pronouns she, her, and Elizabeth. And it's a fun story for today. And it is called, heated it up, The Rainbow Symphony. And in honor of that, I wore these socks. And thank you for all of your love and support. My little music cue's not working. Anyway, imagine the flutes at the beginning of Beethoven's Magic Flute. It is all good. Thank you. So this is a story about magic. I love those stories. And it's primarily about Madame Iris, who has great-grandchildren, and she had a career before, and you'll hear about that. And so Madame Iris is sitting in a rocking chair, and her great-grandchildren are all around her. And the youngest little one, Sophie, says, "Granny Iris, tell us a story, please." Madame Iris smiled, and she was like filled with joy because she likes to tell stories. "Very well. Let me tell you about the time I conducted the Rainbow Symphony." As the children settled around her feet, she began her tale. Many years ago, in a city where rain never stopped. Rain never stopped. She says, "I was a young conductor, full of dreams, but lacking in color. The constant gray had dulled the spirits of everyone in town, including my spirit. One day, as I walked to the concert hall, I noticed a peculiar instrument shop that I had never seen before. In the window stood 7 crystal flutes, each a different color of the rainbow. Intrigued, I entered the shop. An old man with twinkling eyes greeted me. "Ah, the young conductor. I've been expecting you." He said that, handing me the flutes. "These are magic. Use them wisely. Confused but curious, I took the flutes to that evening's rehearsal. As each musician played their crystal flute, something extraordinary happened. The red flute brought warmth to our hearts. The orange ignited our passion. The yellow lifted our spirits. The green renewed our hope. The blue calmed our minds. The indigo awakened our intuition, and the violet connected us to something greater than ourselves. That night, we performed the Rainbow Symphony. As the last note faded, the rain outside stopped. For the first time in years, a brilliant rainbow arched across the sky and color returned to our city. Madam Iris paused, looking at her captivated audience. From that day on, our city was never the same. The Rainbow Symphony had broken the spell of gloom, reminding us of the beauty and joy in the world. Little Sophie's eyes were so big. But Granny, what happened to the magic flutes? Madam Iris winked. That's a story for another day. As the children begged for more, Madam Iris laughed, her eyes twinkling with the same magic she'd encountered so long ago in that mysterious shop. The moral of the story: music has the power to transform lives and bring light to even the darkest of times. It reminds us that sometimes all we need is a little magic and creativity to change our perspective and brighten our world.
So now we'll sing the kids out. Are there any kids to go with Elizabeth Ann this morning downstairs?
Upstairs. As you leave this place, know that you belong. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are loved. As you leave this space, know that you belong. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are loved.
She's lost. That way. Wow. Good morning again. I, like most people these days, am experiencing a lot of anxiety. I find it surreal to watch the dismantling of our government by a psychotic, diabolical felon and predator. Not only is he and his minions rapidly dismantling our government and alienating our allies, but they are also insidiously trying to normalize racism, sexualism, and other forms of discrimination, as well erase any culture that does not align with their white male Christian nationalist theology or ideology. We are a nation and perhaps a world that is in a state of shock, trying to understand what is happening. For me, I don't find it too hard to understand. I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed that once again, in our brief history. We are failing to live up to the promises and aspirations of our Constitution. It's beyond heartbreaking to see so many of the gains we've made over the decades in civil and judicial rights completely rolled back. I also have anxiety about climate change and the state of our healthcare and education. I can go on about all the dangers of this new political order. A lot of it is reminiscent of the times my ancestors endured in this country during slavery and then Jim Crow. This time is also reminiscent of the rise of totalitarianism in Europe during the 20th century. History only gives me perspective to a point. This current period, in my opinion, is far more complicated and egregious. I won't spend the rest of my reflection on why I think so. I think you all understand. You all get the point. However, I want to share with you how I am coping and staying grounded with all this. I was thinking while writing this, what I have heard the most and what I've said to all of you after suggesting we form a task force, and Bruce is going to make an announcement about that later, that as a community, we can be proactive about all that the task force is meant to be proactive about all that is coming our way. And what I said is the most important thing is to take care of ourselves and each other. In her book, Emergent Strategy, Adrienne Marie Brown emphasizes self-care. She says, self-care is a form of resistance in that it is essential for collective liberation. Because I am older and I have chronic diseases, self-care is extra important. Stress and anxiety can exacerbate my medical conditions. So I try to counter it by walking as much as possible. I go to the gym a few times a week. I meditate. I try to eat well. I make sure I get enough sleep. Another way I cope is intellectually. I'm an avid reader and I study history. I look at history to see parallels to the present. And yes, there are many parallels to today, and none of them turn out well for societies. Foundational to my self-care is my family. My wife, Darlene, and I are fortunate to have a very close family who live close by. We spend a lot of time together. My two daughters were raised in this church and highly value their Unitarian Universalist heritage. I'm especially fortunate to have my toddler grandson, Francis, who brings joy to me and my family every day. He's my everything. I also engage myself in work every day, whether it's working for my company, working for my church, UU Justice PA, or the work I recently started doing with the Unitarian Universalist Association. My work is an extension of myself and my values. Then there is community, in particular this community. Starting with the AIDS crisis in the early 80s to now, this is where I have come to be in community, to find meaning in the world, be encouraged, find solidarity, and to be supported and loved and work towards building the beloved community. I come most Sundays to get grounded. Again, from Emergent Strategy, Adrienne Marie Brown emphasizes the crucial role of community as a source of strength, resilience, and grounding. She sees community as a vital source of support, especially during challenging times. It's where we find solidarity, share resources, and build collective power. Community helps us weather storms and sustain our efforts for change. At UU Mount Airy, we have many opportunities for being involved in and building community. They are at the heart of who we are and have always been, and how we want to witness our values and love for our community internally and externally. Community involvement offers a sense of belonging and support, promoting personal growth and well-being. It provides opportunities to connect with others, access resources, and make a positive impact, ultimately strengthening both ourselves and the community as a whole. Indian author and activist and essayist Arundhati Roy speaks of community as a dynamic and multifaceted entity. It is a source of strength, identity, and resistance, but also a space where individuals navigate complex relationships and grapple with broader social and political forces. Roy also argues in her essay, The Pandemic is a Portal, that the COVID-19 pandemic, while a tragedy, presented a unique opportunity for humanity to rethink its relationship with the world and envision a different future. Her main message was a call to action, urging us to see the pandemic not just as a crisis to overcome, but as a portal between one world and another. And she is coming. I believe we are still traversing that portal, and that on the other side, a better world awaits us. I also believe that there will be many more challenges, some existential, yet to come. My dear friends, in the face of adversity and uncertainty, let us remember the strength and resilience that lie at the heart of our community. We are bound together by shared experience, common values, and a deep-seated commitment to one another's well-being. Now, more than ever, we must draw upon this wellspring of unity and support. The road ahead may be long and arduous, fraught with challenges and setbacks, but we shall not falter, for we know that we do not walk alone. In each other we find solace, encouragement, and the unwavering belief that together we can overcome any obstacle. Together we can create a community that is a beacon of hope, a sanctuary of compassion, and a world, as Langston Hughes mentions in his poem, I Dream a World, where wretchedness will hang its head no more, and a community that is a testament to the enduring power of love and human connection. Let us join hands and hearts and work together to strengthen our community today and for generations to come. Thank you. And now we'll have a musical interlude with our choir and Monica, led by Monica. technical challenges. Okay, we're good. Before Reverend Cathy comes up to give her sermon, I thought it would be proper just to introduce her. Reverend Cathy Rion Starr, who goes by the pronouns they, them, is a queer white minister, organizer, and parent. Cathy serves as leadership development specialist for Side with Love on a UUA staff and lives in southern Delaware on the Nanticoke lands with their family. Cathy is a graduate of Starr King School for the Ministry and Stanford University and has served as parish minister in Connecticut, Washington, D.C., and Oregon. Cathy's background is in racial justice and anti-racist community organizing in the San Francisco Bay Area. She brings a passion for relationship building, strives to hold complexity and contradictions honestly, and seeks more spiritually grounded justice work. Cathy also loves making music, contemplative and contemporary worship, dark chocolate, gardening, and being silly. And I would add that I had the pleasure of working with Reverend Cathy back in 2020 when she led our UU Justice PA UU to Vote effort for that year. Now, that year turned out to be pretty good, thanks. So without further ado.
Thank you, Tim. It is so good to be here with you this morning, having worked with Tim and Bruce, and I forget who else was involved in that 2020 effort, which was during lockdown. And so I was living in Connecticut, and it was all remote because that was what we did. So it's so nice to be in your physical pulpit, saying hello to those of you who are online today. And my partner also asked me to bring her greetings. My partner, Heather Rion Starr, is also a UU minister, and she was a member of this congregation late 90s, early 2000s, and it was a really formative time where she began thinking about seminary herself. So she said, be sure to look at the stained glass window with the craftspeople and the stairs, and just sends her greetings a couple of decades hence. She's the minister in southern Delaware where we live, where there's only one UU congregation within about 30 miles. So what a joy to be here with you this morning. Thank you for having me. Our opening words this morning were from Adrienne Marie Brown, who I gather you all are quite familiar with, the Black, queer, disabled, fat prophet, author, visionary, and artist. Humble yourself to what is. Accept that this is what has unfolded so far. Notice that you have your whole life to shape what comes next. So, my beloved people, what is? I stand here as an organizer whose full-time job with your Unitarian Universalist Association is to move us into strategic collective action. It's a job that I love, and I love our people. But today, I stand before you humbled by my own inability to find grounding amidst all of this that is right now. Humble yourself to what is has been no small feat of late. Amen? So let me begin today by focusing on camera 2. This is what a friend calls the camera that's focused on the close-up of our lives. Here are a few things in my what is of this week. Just looking at camera 2. My youngest kiddo, who was up here earlier, turned 8 this week. This child who once fit inside my body now runs off downstairs without me with no problem, and thank goodness. The waves at Cape Henlopen near my house keep crashing, even though I haven't been there since a couple weeks ago when I did the polar plunge with no less than 4,000 people on a 42-degree day. A dear colleague is recovering from cancer surgery. My houseplants are thriving. I cut my hand in a really stupid way last night on a mandolin I was trying to try out. And I would be remiss if I did not say, even though I could care less about football, that the Eagles won. My beloved people, what is in your camera 2? Actually think of a few of those things, humbling, exciting, scary, monotonous. In your intimate camera 2 close-up, what is for you right now? Because this is a sermon about how we dance between that intimate camera 2, the close-up, and camera 1 that pans the wider context. Before you get too nervous, I am not going to name the what is of camera 1. You don't need to be told, either because you have scrolled your way through the details and you already know, or you're making a conscious choice to avoid the news as an act of self-care, or maybe like me, you're like in a pinball machine bouncing back and forth between the two. We all know some things about that camera 1. We know that flood the zone is a tactic. We know that overwhelm is the point. I knew this in my head before the inauguration. You probably did too, but in the days immediately afterwards, I found myself dysregulated and overwhelmed, knocked from side to side by messages about real things happening to real people, many of whom I know, even as I did my best to ignore the barrage of executive orders and news. Humble yourself to what is. Accept that this is what has unfolded so far. Beloveds, have you too been humbled by the speed, the breadth, the reality of what it is to live in the beginning of a Trump-Musk administration that many are calling, rightly I believe, an administrative coup? Have you been humbled by your own feelings, your numbness, your exhaustion, your reactivity? Now, some of you, maybe, possibly, answer no to that question. Bless y'all. Bless y'all who have not been brought to your knees in this humbling to what is. I say that very seriously. If you find yourself resilient and clear-sighted and grounded, we need you in this marathon. Because what I have seen in the last month is a whole lot of ungrounded reactivity. At first, I got swept up in it myself, and before I knew it, I had joined those amplifying another egregious executive order, posting unverified rumors, my stomach in knots. I found myself impatient and unkind to my children and my spouse. I noticed people taking their reactive energy and putting it into knee-jerk actions. Let's put this sign on the church doors that says private. Let's put everything into the Signal app. Let's organize a rally for trans lives. None of these are inherently bad actions. But actions driven by anxiety and reactivity are rarely grounded in solid strategy. I particularly noticed white people's anxiety. Those of us who are further from the immediate impacts by identity or lack of proximity to the on-the-ground organizing of those most impacted need to pause and ground before asking, what do I do? If your drive to do something is driven by anxiety, you likely won't do it well. Hence my excitement to use the mandolin. Not done well. This is the spiritual task before us. To truly accept what is also means humbling ourselves to our inability to stop it. Breathe that in for a moment. We cannot unarrest the asylum seeker who was picked up as a collateral arrest when ICE came for someone else. I know 3 trans families who just moved to Delaware, and we cannot make it safe right now for them to move back to their home communities in unsafe states, or make it safe for those who cannot leave those states. We cannot undo the confirmation votes that Republicans pushed through and Democrats did not obstruct. We cannot stop the pains and sorrows of life like cancer and addiction. All of this demands, and it's a tough demand, it demands our acceptance and our grief, because it is what is for now. I invite you to take a moment and check in with your body in your seat and notice your breath. What are you doing to ground and center yourself daily and weekly and with other people? Thank you, Tim, for sharing what you are doing right now. The Saturday after the inauguration, I began co-teaching the Transforming Hearts Collective's Trans Inclusion for Congregations classes. Have you all done this here? I see Bruce, some folks know it. It's amazing. It's amazing. But I was nervous because we had 30 people signed up. I didn't really know the class that well yet. And it was this week where trans people were having their identity documents confiscated when they went to renew their passports, just a couple days after the inauguration. How could we gather to do Trans 101 basic education work when trans people's lives were literally and are literally at risk? There we gathered in our sanctuary. There we sat watching Sir Alex Capitan and Reverend Michael Slack in this video talking about inclusion, about beloved community, about belonging. In small groups, we each shared about a time we experienced profound belonging and welcome. In those 90 minutes together in that sanctuary a few Saturday mornings ago, I felt my body center down. My breath slowed, the knot in my stomach released because we were gathered together doing what we know how to do. Live our faith and be church. We people of faith, we Unitarian Universalists, we know how to ground and gather. It's what we do every week. We know how to support each other. We know that, as our Side with Love director, Nicole Presley, said to me this week, we have a faith rooted in believing that the covenant, the gathering, the collective is the only place that holy work is done. In the urgency of these times, we need to go slowly together. Here we are together. And I am so glad that you are here. I am so glad that I am here on this ridiculously gray, rainy day where the drive was gross, to be here in community. I don't really know you, and I love you. I am glad you are here, and you matter. Just as you are, no matter what you do or how you feel or don't feel. I love you for who you are. I love you, I love us as we humble ourselves to what is. Because the quote doesn't just stop there. The second part of the quote, notice that you have your whole life to shape what comes next. Lift your gaze to the horizon out of this moment of right now. Our faith is clear that revelation is not sealed. We have agency to shape our lives and the world around us. Here we are, living in a beautiful and scary choose your own adventure book. And we don't know how it ends. There is no one clear path. There is no one answer. Even though many UUs are reaching out to us at Side with Love, asking for the answer, saying, what should we do? There is no one answer. There's a multitude. Menominee author and organizer Kelly Hayes, referencing abolitionist organizer Andrea Ritchie, wrote this week, fascism thrives on our sense that it is unstoppable, all-consuming, and inevitable. To oppose it, and to remind ourselves that we are capable of defeating it, we must exercise our imaginations. So let us imagine. If you could write your preferred ending to this Choose Your Own Adventure book that we are living, what would you write? What do you imagine? What do you dream? In our Side with Love work, we ask people to draw this imagined future called a rich picture. Now, did y'all do the climate revival? Have you done the climate revival? No, okay. Then if you had, then you would know what it is. But that's a program that Side with Love has offered that you can do in your congregation, do a whole bunch of amazing work. I highly, highly recommend it. But this rich picture, you take crayons, you're not allowed to use words, and you draw a picture of that imagined Choose Your Own Adventure ending. And I've done this several times, and it's different every time, but it always has nature and beauty. It always has children and adults mingling amongst each other, not in nuclear units. There is ample and healthy food, comfortable enough homes. School is not in a building, but woven in the community throughout life. My stick figures make a rainbow, not unlike what Elizabeth Ann said earlier, and are, as much as I can poorly draw, of different sizes, ages, abilities, and disabilities. Every time I draw this crude, rich picture, it makes me smile. Imagination keeps our eyes on the prize. And if we don't dream it, there is no way it will ever come true. So what do you imagine? Alex Capitan in the trans inclusion class says it this way. My understanding of beloved community from a UU place is that it's heaven here on earth. Very universalist sentiment. It's all of creation being in right relationship. So a congregation can practice beloved community, but as long as there is an us and a them, there is no beloved community. Beloved community for me is when we say we, and we mean everyone. Isn't that beautiful? And doesn't it also feel completely impossible right now? Because that's the imagination part. We have to cast that vision, that imagination, to remind us where we're going, even when we're way back here. The imagining is our collective spiritual task. We can't do it alone, but together we can imagine what heaven on earth could taste and look and feel like. We can remind each other that we dream of a world where we means everyone and all of creation. Especially in these times when our federal government is in the hands of those who are trying to shrink that we into a tiny realm of white, straight billionaires and doing their best to erase the beautiful, multicultural, multigender we of beloved community. Especially in these times, may we remind each other that another world is possible. That quote that we heard in the song in the beginning comes from Arundhati Roy, who Tim also referenced. Another world is not only possible, but on a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. A world where we means everyone. All humans and more than human world. So with apologies to Adrienne Marie Brown, I'm going to change her words a little bit. Humble yourself to what is, she writes. Let us humble ourselves to what is. Accept that this is what has unfolded so far, and notice that we have our lives to shape we have our whole lives to shape what comes next. We together have so much power, so much love, so much care. I see it and feel it in this sanctuary this morning. Thank you so much for welcoming me into your space. The problems of today did not start on January 20th or even in our lifetimes. Many of you have resisted, many of our biological and chosen ancestors, those who we especially lift up in Black History Month, but hopefully throughout the whole year, have resisted, built networks of care, protected people, created joy and art before. And now it's our turn to shape what comes next. May we ground deeply into love. When we name what is, may we start with what is good. May we ground deeply into community with an ever-widening we. May we do everything in our power to act from a place of love and relationship rather than fear and reactivity. May we remember to gather again and again and again and again and again because we need one another. To stay true, to stay humble, to stay present, to keep kindling the flames of love and imagination. And may we together shape what comes next, looking for love, standing for peace, and reminding one another that change will come. So may it be, and amen.
Now is the time when we collect our offering of financial resources for the good of this community. We know there are many ways to give back to this congregation, and we encourage you to find a way that works for you. For giving of financial support, your money or checks put in the plate for today will be used to fund everyday operations of this congregation. Any pocket change or other money that you designate for change online or by putting them in the white envelopes in the pews will be sent to this month's selected Change for Change organization, which is Northwest Mutual Aid Collective, a grassroots community organization established in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. The organization aims to help combat food insecurities and food waste by supplying nutritious and healthy food to seniors, disabled residents, cancer patients, and low-income families in the city's northwest section. They believe that people at a transitional point in their lives need a hand up and not a handout, and so they strive to be that support. Please know that if this is your first time with us, there's no expectation that you give anything other than a yellow contact form or letting us know how you found us and how we can support you. The offering will now be gratefully accepted. are so fortunate to have a mom. Jesus. As we get ready to extinguish our chalice and end our time together this morning, please remember to stick around for announcements and the slides. We do have a postlude song, and downstairs during coffee hour, folks on Zoom are invited to check in with each other afterwards. For more information on what's going on in the life of this congregation, you can check the weekly newsletter that comes out on Thursday, or you could peruse the insert in your order of service. Finally, check out our website and social media pages for more important updates. Our chalice extinguishing words this morning are, the words to extinguish our chalice are by Audre Lorde. Your power is relative, but it is real. And if you do not know how to use it, it will be used against you and me and your children. Change did not begin with you and will not end with you. But what you do in your life is an absolute vital piece. Our closing hymn is number 1024, Spirit Says Do. And Bruce has an announcement before we sing our closing hymn.
I just wanted to read you something from the Strategic Planning Committee. Dear members and friends of UU's of Mount Airy, in follow-up to the email from earlier last week, as many of you know, we are embarking on an exciting journey to create a strategic plan that will guide our congregation in the years to come. This plan will help us to clarify our shared values, identify our priorities, and set goals for the future. This work strives to build a thriving community centering love and providing spiritual nourishment that advances our mission of building beloved community by embracing all souls and nurturing wholeness. To ensure that this plan truly reflects the needs and aspirations of our entire community, we need your input. We invite you to participate in a brief online survey that will explore key areas of congregational life. Your anonymous responses will help us to understand what matters most to you and where you see opportunities for growth and improvement. The survey was made available last week. You should have received a separate email with a link to the survey. We're aiming at for a 20 to 30 minute completion time. We understand that some of you may prefer a paper copy and have those available as well. Cathy, do we know where those are? There's also a link in the newsletter. So if you prefer a paper copy, you can do it that way. Please fill out the form by February 24th, so that's a week from Monday. So please do, if you would like to be part of the future of this community, please fill one out. And if you have any trouble, contact the office to get a copy. In addition to the survey, we'll be hosting a series of discussion groups in March and April. These groups will provide an opportunity to delve deeper into the survey topics and share your thoughts and ideas in a more interactive setting. More information about the discussion groups will be shared in the coming weeks. We believe that every voice matters as we are fostering engagement, impact, and sustainability. We encourage you to participate in this important process. Your input will help us to create a strategic plan that reflects the heart and soul of our congregation. With love and gratitude, the Strategic Planning Committee, David Devan, Holly Job, Cathy McCoubry, Anam Awili Aguirre, and Bruce Pollock Johnson. Thanks. If you have questions, just see any of us about that.
Thank you, Bruce.
We're going to try it so that the hymn is Spirit Says Do.
And let me just say that all your anxiety and all that's in your body, bring it to this song. Please. Go ahead, Bruce.
We're going to do this in a playful way. It has two parts with very different paces. So get into it. The second part is very lively. Feel free to get up and move. Actually, why don't we stand? Because it's calls for it. But it's going to start off a little slow. It's okay. You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You got to do when the Spirit says do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spirit says do. 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 You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing, oh Lord. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 Spirit says, Spirit says sing. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you got to dance, oh Lord. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 You got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. When the Spirit says laugh, you got to laugh, oh Lord. Got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. 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 You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. You got the Spirit says shout. You got to shout, oh Lord. You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. 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 You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. Got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 Spirit says do.
Oh, beloveds, take this spirit out into your weeks, carrying love, carrying pause, carrying grounding, carrying togetherness, and doing what the Spirit says to do or not do. Go in peace, sharing love, and creating justice. Amen.
change is gonna come. It's been too hard living. I don't wanna die, boy. I don't know what's up there, way beyond that cloud. It's been a long, long, long time. Oh, and I know change is on the come.
Lovely to see you. Just lovely.
Oh, yes, I do.
Then I go to my baby brother.